What's going on, guys? Isaac Baylor here, back with another PC build. This PC build is going to be an $800 PC build and will feature one of the newer Ryzen 3rd Gen processors. So for the processor, I chose the AMD Ryzen 5 3600 3.6 GHz 6-core processor. This will be a great starting processor for you. 6 cores, a whole lot better than what you used to be able to get. Right now it's priced at $172. There'll be a link in the description for a more in-depth video. And this should allow you to do any gaming, streaming, recording, whatever you wanted to do like that, along with it playing any games and not have to worry about it. Anyway, this is a great processor. And going along next, we have the CPU cooler. I chose just to stick with the stock CPU cooler that it comes with. I've personally used it. I don't see if there's a problem with it at all. And you shouldn't have any problems with it at all either. Now for the motherboard, I chose the Gigabyte B450M DCS DS3H Micro ATX motherboard. I basically just chose this motherboard just because it had some features like an M.2 slot if you wanted to upgrade in the future, because I personally didn't include an M.2 SSD. And it also includes 4 RAM slots, which should be pretty standard, but it offers plenty of expansion for anything you might want to do in the future, and it's just a pretty decent board. Gigabyte's a pretty good brand. I haven't had any problems with it myself. And for around $75 or $73 sometimes, whenever they're in stock right now, pretty good buy. Now for the RAM, I chose the G-Skill Ripjaws 5 16 gigabyte kit of DDR4 3600. This will offer you a good amount of RAM, and for the Ryzen 3rd Gen, you'll need the faster memory, so the 3600 will also be the best stuff you can buy right now. And for $70 right now on Newegg, can't really complain. And it's red, so you can do with that what you will. If you like red, if you don't, whatever. Now for storage, I chose the PNY CS900 500 gigabyte SSD. It's a little bit on the cheaper side at $55, but I've had a PNY SSD now for about 3 or 4 years. It's 120 gig, but it's the same SSD model or whatever. But anyway, I haven't had any problems with it. It's been working perfectly for those 4 years. So you shouldn't have any problems with this, even for it being a cheaper drive. And I also went with the hard drive with this. I went with the WD Caviar Blue 1TB. Just a classic of any PC build nowadays, it seems like. Also, you could upgrade to the Seagate 2TB one if you wanted to, and it's about $15 more, around $60, or sometimes it's on sale around $55. But anyway, with those, you should be able to have your OS and any games and stuff. Games you play regularly, you can slap on the SSD, or you can store all your games on the hard drive and be good to go. Anyway, next we're on to the graphics card, and for that I chose the GTX 1660 Super. Great graphics card for mid-range. Right around $240 on Newegg right now, and you can get it at other places like Best Buy and Amazon, but right now Amazon's out of the stock of the lower price ones. And with 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 and a boost clock of 1830 megahertz, this will offer you great price to performance gaming. Especially for 1080p, this card would have been great a few years ago. Back before 1440p and 4K wasn't very popular as it is now. But for 1080p, you ought to be able to high settings on any game you want and be perfectly fine. Now for the case, I chose the NCXT H510. And I chose the one with the red cable management cover thing, whatever you want to call it. And I just did this because I chose the red RAM from earlier, so I figured, hey, maybe we can finally match something in this system. But this case is a great case following the S340 that it replaced, and it has a USB 3 and a Type-C up at the front along with a headphone jack, if that's whatever you want to use, and it offers great expansion, and with cable management in it, you should be good to go. Now lastly, for the power supply, I wanted something. I didn't go for a fully modular one because sometimes those are higher priced, so I just chose a semi-modular one, and those you can get around $80 or so. You can pretty much choose whatever you want depending on brand. But for the one I chose the Roswell Lepton 500 watt 80 plus gold certified semi-modular power supply. I've used Roswell, and I've used a Roswell semi-modular power supply. They're great. They have black cables. They're not all orange and red. But this one I just chose because out of all the semi-modular power supplies that I found, this was the only one that was gold certified for around that $70 price point. And that's basically it right now. And for this would be a great price to performance PC build right around that $800 price point. And for another $200 for a $1,000 build, you could throw on a mouse, keyboard, and a monitor. Maybe even a 144 hertz monitor if you cheaped out a little bit on the mouse and keyboard. But this would offer you a great PC for whatever you'd want to do, whether it be gaming, streaming, and then recording, I guess, if you wanted to do that too. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys, and see ya.